Donald Trump's dust-up with Jorge Ramos has put the spotlight on how the Spanish-language media treat him. We're back with our favorite Cuban-American commentator, Mercedes Viana Schlapp. So it's not just Jorge. As my favorite Cuban-American commentator, would you say the Hispanic media treat Trump with great hostility?
I think that's a fair assessment to say that the Hispanic media is treating him with hostility. In fact, they're failing to mention a lot of what you would consider pro-immigrant policy that Trump is pushing on immigration. So, for example, Trump always says, "Well, we'll keep the good ones here in the or send them back. They're good people here. We're going to expedite them, bring them back." That is never mentioned or barely ever mentioned in Hispanic media. So there's definitely, they don't cover the whole story, I think, to a certain extent.
On CNN, Maria Hinojosa said the press wouldn't have beaten up on Jorge Ramos for the way he acted at that news conference if it had been Lester Holt or some other African-American journalist had asked those questions. So the suggestion is this was anti-Hispanic discrimination to criticize what Ramos did?
Well, I think that's a story that the media is trying to portray, too. It's sort of the fact that Trump has made immigration policy his most important issue thus far, and then saying that he's basically having this fight with Jorge Ramos. So again, I think it's a narrative that the media is trying to push forward, and again, it's unfair.
If you're a Hispanic journalist or a Hispanic reporter or a Hispanic commentator, can you take the position that the immigration laws of this country should be enforced without being denounced by your community?
And first, I think there are certain Hispanic journalists, I'd say, like Jose Diaz-Balart in Telemundo, and there are several others who really believe in that issue of saying, look, we need to enforce our laws. Yes, I mean, they go into that route. But there's always this issue about the question about the 11 million and what you do with them. And that is something that I think these journalists have been asking not only President George W. Bush, but President Obama. And now what has happened is it's become so Trump-focused because of the fact that Trump has made what they would consider, and as you know, like rhetoric against Hispanics, and that I think that the Hispanic media has just responded in a way that really has become an emotional and personal issue for them.
I've sometimes asked this of black journalists who take on their own community by going against the conventional wisdom. I mean, is there a lot of pressure, peer pressure almost, that if you don't follow that line, you will be disparaged by people who are kind of like your friends, your buddies, your colleagues?
You know, I don't think so. It's interesting with the Hispanic media because a Hispanic community is so divided. You've got 67% Mexicans, and you've got Cubans, Salvadorans. You know, you have this mix. It's not a homogeneous group. So I think you find that diversity of opinion to a certain extent, but clearly those Hispanic journalists that really court what would be the Mexican viewer, they're going to be a lot harsher when it comes on talking about Trump and about immigration policy and what they expect to be done with immigration policy.
So it's important not to portray it as a monolith. Mercy.
That's absolutely right.
Thanks very much. Still to come, your top tweets. CNN's Don Lemon talks about porn sites. I know, it's strange. And why Stephen Colbert says he got sick of his ranting and raving characters. Stay with us.